Joining us this afternoon is the Deputy Leader of the Liberal Party, Michael Ignatieff. Good afternoon.
Nice to be here, Jane.
The degree of seriousness of what's going on in your party, I think, is emphasized by the fact that you're here today. You haven't given a national interview since March.
I'm just very shy, Jane.
I don't think it's that. I think it's the fact that you have a message to get out there. You had wanted to avoid the press before because of suspicions that you're trying to take over from your leader. So do you think now Mr. Dion can pull this off?
Jane, just before we begin, just two little things that are kind of off the topic but are so important. One of them is that we lost an RCMP officer last night, and I just think on behalf of my party and all Canadians who love this force, just express my sorrow at his death in Hay River. And the other thing is that we've got a former Prime Minister recovering, and I think we all want to say, bon rétablissement, chef. You know, come back, Jean, and we miss you.
Okay. And okay. On that note,
far away.
Okay. Well, let's get back to the main topic then. Mr. Dion, the infighting, the problems with your party. How are you going to fix this, and can Mr. Dion pull it off?
Never underestimate Dion. I did. Never underestimate the Liberal Party. We're anchored in the reality of Canada and the reality of Quebec. We need discipline. We need unity. United parties win and divided parties lose. So we understand that.
Okay, and that's the message that you're trying to get out to your caucus.
Absolutely.
To shut up, basically.
Well, let's show some message discipline. Let's show some discipline. Let's fight like the NHL team that we are.
Okay. And let's get to the throne speech then, because Mr. Harper had a unique and very rare press conference last week in which he challenged basically the Liberals to say put up or shut up. So what are you going to do? What is their strategy for the throne speech?
Jane, Canadians don't want an election. I mean, I was just in Glace Bay, Nova Scotia, a wonderful place, and I'm not hearing people clamoring for an election. That's the first thing. If Mr. Harper was prepared to make a minority parliament work, it'd be easy. All he has to do is pick up the phone and call the leader of our party and say, look, I've got a number of bills, I've got a number of measures, how far will you come with me? I mean, if this man respected compromise and respected Parliament, he could make Parliament work. I think the Prime Minister's made a decision. He doesn't want to make Parliament work, and so we have to face that reality. But
how do you make it work?
But just so you understand what I mean, on the criminal justice bills that the government brought forward last session, we were prepared to fast track about 70% of them. That's compromise. We were happy to work with the government when it's in the national interest, and we still are.
But given that he doesn't want to compromise, at least that's what you're saying, what are you going to do? It seems that the caucus wants to go day by day, not defeat the throne speech. Is that where you are?
Look, we will make our decisions, Jane, when we've read the speech. I mean, you can't make decisions about this until you see what the government proposes. If the government proposes a moderate, sensible speech that we feel is in the national interest, that's one thing. If it's one long poison pill, that's another. And we have to decide what's in the national interest. And our judgment is that this country doesn't want to go to another. And we've had, 3-4 provincial elections. We've just come through the Ontario election, and I hope Dalton McGuinty wins, let me say. And I'm sure he will. I mean, we've got a lot of election fatigue out there, and a responsible opposition has to bear that in mind.
So it sounds like you don't want to go to an election, and if you don't do that and you support the government, aren't you facing the fact that you might become irrelevant? The NDP says it's going to take over as the official opposition.
I've heard that song before. Look, let's get back to fundamentals that don't change in our country. A third of this country, Jane, wants to vote for the Liberal Party if you give it half a decent reason to do so. We have a huge electoral base. We've got an electoral base that Jack Layton can't even begin to think about. These are the facts. They endure election after election, year after year. Why is it that this party has governed this country so effectively? Because people have trusted us and give us their support, and they will continue to do so. Those are the facts.
So you haven't given them the reasons now because you're down in the dumps.
You go up, you go down, but don't ever underestimate the Liberal Party of Canada. That's all I'm saying.
You're not going to tell me what you're going to do, and you don't think that you'll face irrelevancy by continuing to support the government.
I think the idea of irrelevancy is ridiculous, and it's insulting to the millions and millions of Canadians who voted us. We're not irrelevant. We're as relevant as ever.
Now, the other criticism, and the criticism against you, is the fact that your people, and maybe even yourself, are fighting Mr. Dion. That you want to shake up his leadership and you want to take over as the leader. What do you say to that?
Jane, the convention happened 10 months ago. Do you remember what I said at that convention? Do you remember how I got up within 30 seconds of losing to Mr. Dion? I pledged my support then. It remains now.
I don't think your people heard you say that, though.
Well, I always avail myself of the opportunity when I speak to you to get that message through. Let's be clear. Let's take the labels off our necks here. There are no more Ignatieff people, Dion people, Dryden people, Bryson people. They're liberals. And we have to fight and win as a team, and we will. I passed that message right throughout. I passed that message in the Outremont by-election. All of my people worked hard in that election. We will work hard in the future. I will do anything I'm asked to do by the leader, because that's what matters. This party matters. This is a national institution. And the idea that we would fight in any other way than as a proud national institution appalls me.
Okay, and Bob Ray, a rival of yours in leadership as well, just wrote in the Globe and Mail about the spending powers, and he's saying that the federal government is going to emasculate, or will be emasculated by what Mr. Harper is suggesting. Quebec likes what he's suggesting. Where are you on that? And do you think Mr. Ray is offside now with the Liberals?
The Liberal Party of Canada, since Laurier, has believed in a strong federal government. We've also been a party, and Monsieur Dion was part of this, that's respected the competences of provinces. A lot of the most innovative and exciting and good things that happen in Canadian politics happen in the provinces. A good federation has innovation in the provinces and innovation in the federal government and partnership between the two without one going into the other's domain all the time. So we have to have clear competences, we have to have respect for each other's jurisdictions, but this party, when we have to draw a line, wants to defend a smart, compassionate federal government working in partnership with provinces. And then we have to look at the kinds of proposals that Mr. Harper proposes. If he comes in with measures that, in our view, drastically weaken the federal government, that's a serious issue to all Canadians, because Canadians know you need a federal government to sustain the national unity of our country. This is about the unity of our country. This isn't about one level of government or another. We're a partnership party. We believe in partnership with the provinces, and we have to see what he proposes, and then we'll act in the national interest.
And just quickly, last, did you speak? Have you spoken with Mr. Dion about what to do about the throne speech? Have you strategized with him?
Talk all the time.
So he's not suspicious of you. You're not suspicious of him. You guys have a great relationship.
The thing about any relationship is it is more effective the less you say about it.
Okay. I want to thank you for your time this afternoon, Mr. Ignatieff.
Thank you, Jane.